Today, we're exploring one of the most deeply personal journeys a person can take, finding new connection after loss. This isn't about moving on, but about moving forward, in a way that honors everything that came before.
You know that feeling? That sharp, almost gut-wrenching sense of guilt when you feel even a flicker of interest in someone new? Well, I want you to know that is not a sign that you're not ready. It is not a moral failing. It's a biological, structural thing that happens. And understanding that this isn't your fault, that it's your brain's programming, that is the very first step toward finding peace and maybe, just maybe, new joy.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to follow a really clear path together. First, we'll talk about why moving forward can feel so much like a betrayal. Then we'll dive right into the science behind that feeling. From there, we'll get into a powerful strategy to manage it all, and then I'll give you 4 concrete steps you can actually take. And finally, we'll zoom out and totally reframe how we think about love after loss.
Okay, let's start with this core conflict, what we're calling the treason of the heart. It's a pretty intense phrase for a really intense feeling. A lot of people experience what some therapists call moral infidelity when they even think about dating again. You know, it's that sense that you're breaking a sacred promise. But the most important thing I want you to hear right now is that this is not a personal flaw. It's a deeply ingrained structural response, and you are absolutely not alone in feeling this. Now, let's get into the science of it, because to really get a handle on these powerful emotions, you kind of have to understand where they're coming from. We're going to look at the neurobiology of what you could call the ghost connection, that powerful, invisible bond that's still there long after a partner is gone. And once you see how it works, you'll understand why it triggers what feels just like a betrayal alarm in your brain.
So let's ask the big question. Why? Why does a completely natural human desire for companionship, for warmth, for a simple conversation, why does that feel like such a profound betrayal? Well, the answer isn't just in your heart. It's not just in your memories. It's actually written in the wiring of your brain, shaped by decades of shared love and life.
Okay, so the first piece of this puzzle is a concept called identity fusion. I mean, think about it. After 20, 30, even 50 years with someone, your sense of I just naturally and beautifully blends into a sense of we. Your routines, your jokes, your plans for the future, they all get tangled up together. You don't just share a life, you literally share an identity. So when you lose your spouse, it feels like you've lost a fundamental part of yourself. And that makes the idea of building something new feel not just weird, but like you're erasing that we.
And here's the brain science behind it. It's called the attachment persistence effect. For decades, your brain's reward center has been building this superhighway of neural pathways that connects feelings of joy and safety with one specific person. After they're gone, that superhighway doesn't just vanish. The wiring is still there. So when you meet someone new and you feel that little spark, your brain kind of short circuits. It misinterprets that new joy as a threat to the old bond. And boom, it sounds this loud, clanging betrayal alarm. That guilt you feel, it's literally a neurological false alarm.
Grief research also gives us this amazing framework called the dual process model. It shows us that healthy grieving isn't a straight line. It's more like a dance, a swinging back and forth between 2 states. Loss orientation is when we're focused on the past, processing the pain. And restoration orientation is when we're focused on the future, building a new life, maybe forming new connections. The problem is, when you try to date, you're trying to be in restoration, but your brain and your heart keep pulling you back into loss. It creates this intense internal conflict that can feel like you're being torn in two.
And of course, on top of all that, there are other very real hurdles. There's what's called the zero-sum fallacy. This mistaken idea that your heart is a pie with a limited number of slices, and a new piece means an old one is gone. There's legacy tarnish anxiety, that deep fear that a new relationship might somehow overwrite or diminish the history you built. Then there's just simple relational inertia. I mean, the stress of dating after decades can feel so overwhelming your nervous system thinks you're doing something wrong. And of course, there's the fear of what your kids or your friends will think. All these things just pile on. Okay, so we get the problem, we get the science. Now let's pivot to the solution. This is not about replacement, it is about expansion. And to do that, we need a specific mental model, a strategy we'll call the compartmentalization protocol. It's a way of organizing your thoughts and emotions so you can honor the past while making space for the future. Before we get into the nuts and bolts, we have to adopt a new guiding principle. And it's this: love is an additive process, not a zero-sum game. A new connection does not subtract from a past love. It can't. Your capacity to love didn't die with your spouse. In fact, that profound love you shared is exactly what makes you so capable of connection today.
That love was a gift that expanded your heart, and that expansion is permanent. So this protocol, it's really built on 3 core pillars, 3 mental tools to help you manage all these complex feelings and basically shut off that false alarm in your brain. They are the permission script, the parallel narrative technique, and the legacy firewall. Let's break them down.
First up is the permission script. This is an active, conscious statement you make to yourself. You can even say it out loud. It's all about reframing the whole thing. Instead of seeing a new friend as a betrayal, you define it as the ultimate tribute to the love you had. The argument you make to your own heart is simple and true. The wonderful marriage I had is what taught me the joy of companionship. Seeking that warmth again actually honors the happiness I learned to cherish. By repeating this, you're literally building a new neural pathway that overrides that old false alarm.
Next is the parallel narrative technique. This is all about giving yourself permission to hold 2 truths at once, to live in 2 stories without them fighting each other. Imagine your life as a library. You have this beautiful, sacred volume on the shelf, your internalized relationship with your late spouse. You can take it down and read it anytime, you don't have to put it away, but at the same time you can open a brand new book, a discovery path in the present. One does not cancel out the other. They can exist right next to each other on the same shelf.
And that brings us to the third pillar, the legacy firewall. See, to feel safe exploring something new, you have to know that the old stuff is protected. This means creating conscious boundaries. Maybe certain anniversaries or specific places or even particular songs are reserved only for the memory of your late spouse. You don't bring a new person to your special restaurant. By creating these sacred, protected spaces, you're sending a message to your brain that your history is safe, it cannot be overwritten, and that gives you the security you need to form new bonds without fear.
All right, knowing the principles is one thing, but actually putting them into practice is another. So now let's get really practical with 4 concrete steps you can take. This is how you move from theory to actually becoming the architect of your own future.
These 4 steps are designed to turn the protocol into real-world behavior. They're practical, they're manageable, and they're powerful. We're going to talk about identity relabeling, vulnerability benchmarking, the safe exit first date, and parallel honor rituals. Let's dig into each one.
Step 1 starts with the words you use, because language really does shape our reality. When you introduce yourself meanly as a widow or widower, your identity gets defined by loss. So try a simple but really profound shift. Practice describing yourself as a man with a rich history or a woman with a rich history of love. It feels small, but this change reframes your whole identity around the entirety of your life, not just its most painful chapter.
Step 2 is all about tackling that fear of judgment head-on. Before you even think about going on a date, try what we'll call vulnerability benchmarking. This just means having a gentle, honest chat with your adult kids or your closest friends. You're not asking for permission. You're just stating your human need for companionship. It could be as simple as, hey, I wanted to let you know your dad's memory is everything to me, and I'm realizing I miss having company. I might start having coffee with people now and then. Doing this can transform potential judges into allies and just melts away so much of your own anxiety.
Step 3 is about lowering the stakes. That first date after years can feel so stressful. So design a safe exit first date. Keep it short, an hour for coffee, not a 3-hour dinner. Keep it in a public, neutral spot. And most importantly, change the goal. Your objective is not to find chemistry. The goal is simply curiosity, to have a pleasant conversation with a new person. That's it. It takes all the pressure off and makes the whole thing manageable, maybe even fun. Finally, step 4. This is a powerful little ritual for managing guilt right in the moment. On a day you're going to see someone new, and you feel that betrayal alarm starting to go off. Try a parallel honor ritual. Before you leave the house, just take 5 minutes. Sit quietly. Look at a favorite photo. Think of a happy memory, and just let yourself feel the love for that moment. By consciously honoring your past first, you can then step into the present moment freely and without that heavy burden of guilt. You know, all of this, the science, the protocol, the steps, it all leads us to this final, really empowering shift in how we see things. This journey isn't some sad epilogue to a finished story. It's a new chapter. It's an honorable expansion of a life that is already so rich with love.
I want you to remember this. Your heart is not a limited resource. It's not a container that got filled up once and is now sealed shut. It is a living, evolving story. And every chapter, especially the long, beautiful one you shared, has made you who you are and prepared you with wisdom and grace for the chapters that are yet to be written.
By taking on these ideas, you move from feeling like a stranger in your own life to becoming what we can call a sovereign connector.
you become the author of this next chapter, making sure your life continues to be defined by warmth and connection, all while honoring a legacy that is cherished, protected, and never, ever ended.
So, what's your first step? It's a simple one, but it's a profound one. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take out a piece of paper and a pen and write down this permission script. Just this one sentence. My happiness today is the greatest honor I can give to my past. The physical act of writing it down sends such a powerful message to your brain. This isn't just words on a page. It is the beginning of a new conversation with yourself, the first conscious step in your own honorable expansion.